Good evening, everybody. Let me straighten my chair up a minute. Welcome to Sunday Night Live. Sorry for the slightly chaotic start there. We have just something going on in the background that I'm trying to deal with at the same time as trying to start this show. So I apologize. But anyway, here we are. On Sunday, the 6th of February, 2022. So I hope everyone is doing well. And let's see who was first in today. It was, let me see, who was it who was first in today? I think it was Thomas who was in first in. He came in at 11:20 p.m. my time, which is about 45 minutes ago. And so Thomas over in the Philippines was first in. Tony String is here. Mike over at Music to Motion is here. Louis is here as well. Kyle is here. Paul Morgan is here. Starlight G Recording is here. Awesome, who mentions me twice, which is awesome. I like that. Let's see who else is here. Don Oliver's here as well. Awesome, glad he's here. Just Bob is here. Bobby Pooth is here, so we can kind of start now that he's here, because he has been to every show, which is awesome, pretty much. Loens is here. Fantastic. Good to see you, Loens. Welcome back. Holly Bobby is here. John Hawk is here as well. Ironweed Studios. The Meese King says, yo, good to see you. Who else do we have? I think that's pretty much. Oh, Lollipop Guild is here as well, which is awesome. I'm glad she's here. Fantastic. So, yeah, hope everybody's doing well. It's been a busy week for me. Lots going on. Not just work-related things going on, but there's lots of other things going on as well in the background, family stuff. Some of which is very, very cool. Some of which maybe not quite so cool. But we're getting through it. So yeah, on balance, kind of lots of good things going on, and also quite a tough week as well. But I hope everybody's doing well. So this week, I have noticed that there have been more people joining the Foley music workspace for the challenge, where we're, for those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about, I started this challenge where you guys need to create some sounds using household appliances and any household item. So that includes doors slamming, door handles, vacuum cleaners, blenders, toasters, fridge doors, freezer doors, anything that you have in your house that makes a sound. Record it. And then join the workspace that we have created, and I have my good friend Rich Cresswell who is helping me organize it all. So when you upload sounds, Rich will help kind of put those into folders and that kind of thing. He's created already a piece of music for you guys to listen to, just to see what can be done with household appliances, and he's using things like Sample One and other kind of synths to kind of process those sounds and make a piece of music out of them. You can either make it an unpitched piece of music, so like kind of percussion ensemble type thing, just rhythm basically, or you can map it out and turn it into something pitched and make music that way. So that challenge is still ongoing. We've got a few more weeks left on that, so if you want to get involved, then please do drop me an email. See the web address at the bottom there, www.jonnylipshamstudios.co.uk. Go there, go to the bottom of the page, you will find a contact form there, and just let me know your email address that you use for either mypersonas.com or sphere.personas.com, whichever you have. You don't have to be a member of Personasphere to be involved in this. So long as you have a Personas product like Studio One, you can get involved, because all you need is a my.personas.com account. If you've got one of those, just send me the address, the email address that you use with that account, and then I will invite you to the workspace. You can accept that invitation, and then you can start uploading your sounds as you create them. And then once we've kind of got a big pool of sounds, those are the sounds that you guys will use to create your piece of music. And then as we go through towards the end of February, I would like you to start kind of uploading your completed pieces of music, and then we're just going to listen to them. And we'll have a couple of sessions for Sundays, for Sunday Night Lives, and maybe we'll even borrow a Wednesday Songwriting Simplified session where we can listen to the pieces that you created. I'm going to make one too. I am really busy at the moment, so but I am going to make a piece using sounds that are in this room. I'm going to restrict myself more than I'm restricting you guys. I'm only going to use sounds that I can make from things in this room, excluding this guy. Okay, so keyboard is out, can't use that. But everything else is fair game. So things like my desk, the motors for the faders on my mixer, the drawers, those are all fair game. Anything that is shakeable, smackable, hittable, that's on that shelf is fair game. My hot tap over there, I will use as well. And I'm going to create a piece of music using that. Now, your piece needs to be maximum 90 seconds long. All right? If you kind of go over to maybe towards 2 minutes, that's okay. But really kind of 90 seconds would be the ideal length, really. And that's basically all there is really for rules. It's up to you how you go ahead and make the music. I'm really looking forward to seeing what you guys come up with. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what I can come up with basically the stuff that is in this room. I'm not going to use the rest of the house. I'm just going to record stuff in this room. So it should be pretty cool. I'm very excited by it because it's like nothing I have ever done before. We had the December 10th challenge a few years ago, which was basically where I just said, hey, we're going to set an arbitrary date. And if you want to be involved, release a song on that date. And I did one. It was maybe not the best song I've ever written. There are aspects of it that I really like the lyrics I really liked. The orchestral elements I brought into my piece I really liked. I didn't like the vocal because I rushed it and it wasn't a very good vocal. Because I did the vocal on the day that I was supposed to release the piece. Just because like lots of other things kind of piled into my time and I didn't really get the chance to do really a good job with it. But it was fun, and throughout the course of this year I intend to do more kind of music making challenges because I think they're fun and I think it will help us all to keep our creative juices going. You know, some of you work in the music business full time, so you're kind of making music all the time anyway. Some of you are kind of doing it semi-professionally, so some of the time you have a day job and some of the time you're making music with clients that you work with, and that's great. So you're kind of doing that all the time kind of anyway, or at least part of the time anyway. But then there are those of us who, you know, we don't make music for a living. It's kind of a hobby that we enjoy doing. So I want to make sure that everybody gets the chance to be involved in it and gives them something to aim towards and a different way to flex their musical muscles in maybe ways they've not done before. Like, for example, this challenge. I've never done anything like this before, using household sounds to make a piece of music. I've thought about doing it before, but I have never actually sat down and thought that through and thought about the limitations that just using household sounds kind of puts on what I can and cannot do. Particularly if I decide to go down the unpitched route. If I go down the unpitched route, then all I'm left with is just rhythmic ideas and orchestration as my variations. Whereas if I do something like what Rich did, which is basically use the sounds to create samples and then map them across the keyboard to create a pitched piece of music, then kind of you've got a lot more that you can do. You've got variations of melody, harmony, rhythm, as well as form and structure. So yeah, it's kind of going to be different for different people. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what everybody comes up with. And I have no idea what the next challenge is going to be. So I'm always welcome for you guys to suggest the next challenge. If you've got an idea for the next challenge, drop me an email and say, hey, this would be great for another challenge. Also, if you've got ideas for, kind of more focused topic-based stuff we can do on Sundays as well, I'm up for those as well. So if you've got ideas or you've got a particular subject that you would really like me to cover, like we can cover compression, we can cover EQ, we can cover whatever it is that you've got a bugbear with and you'd like to learn more about. Like I've already had one email this week where somebody had a request for me to make more Notion videos. If you don't know what Notion is the scoring program that Presonus makes. It's fantastic. I've used it since 2016. I was a long-time Sibelius user, but now I use Notion, and Notion's great. And especially now that it is really, really, really deeply integrated with Studio One. The two are completely different programs, but with the score editor, you can actually send a score from Studio One to Notion, and you can send from Notion to Studio One. It's very, very cool. So I'm happy to do either some Sunday Night Lives where I do a little bit on Notion, or I can make some specific videos as well. So I'm up for all of that. It's kind of up to you guys what you'd like me to do. So in the meantime, here we are, about 18 minutes into the show. And I would very much like to take your questions for anything that you want to talk about. So, if you want to talk about, like I said, EQ, compression, we can talk about those kind of things. If you've got any questions on features and functions of Studio One, we can dive into those as well. I'm happy to get Studio One open and show anything that you would like to learn about. And also, if you've got questions on composing, arranging techniques, songwriting techniques, harmony, melody, anything that you guys have got a question about, that's what this show is for. This show is for you and for your questions. I love answering your questions because, they help me learn as much as you guys. So let's get questions into the chat. And I would love to get your questions answered. Bobby Booth says, I'm still trying to figure out how to do the upstrum in Notion. Upstrumming in Notion is really easy, and it's a lot easier than using the new strum feature in Studio One. I can show that. Let me just get Notion up and running. And then we can get a guitar chart open, and I can show you how to do that, because it's actually dead easy. You just need a particular marking that triggers an articulation in Notion, and it should work pretty well for you. So I can show you that. Is there a way to adjust the width of bars in Notion? They kind of change. The more notes you add into it, they kind of change and adjust. But you can adjust the layout handles. Let me just get that squared away. Here we go. All right, so let's start with guitars. So let's grab this acoustic guitar. And so we've created our score. Let's close that for now. And I'm going to zoom in a wee bit so you can kind of see. And that's probably way too zoomed. But that's okay. All right, so if we want to put in a chord, let's put in nice whole notes. Let's put in an E, G, and a C, and another E. There we go. Let's put that in as a chord. I don't know how playable that is, but hey, it doesn't matter. Because I'm not really a guitar player. All right, so what we want is we want this little palette here. Now, you'll see here you've got these little squiggly arpeggio arrows. So you got this one, which is kind of just a general one. And then this one is arpeggio up. And this one is arpeggio down. So what is it that Bobby wants to do? He wants to learn how to up strum. So we want this guy here. So we select that. And we just select chord. Hang on. There we go. And then we click away. And then we see what that sounds like. Hang on, did that actually trigger? It should have. Hang on. Let's take that away. And select that. Let's try that again. Yeah, it's not really kind of doing it. I don't know why it's not doing it. It's playing it as a stabbed chord. Okay, let's try putting in some other notes. Let's try... Actually, that last note is kind of not maybe the note I want. That's okay. And let's go back to that, and we'll do a down one this time. There we go. See, that down one worked that time. For some reason that one didn't. I don't know why. So let's go and copy that and paste that there. We'll get rid of that because we don't need that twice. All right, so these arpeggio signs tell the guitar player which way to strum. All right, so I hope that that answers that question, Bobby. I hope you got to see that. I'm actually just going to lose my webcam so that you can actually see the screen a bit better. There we go. All right, so the other question with Notion was, how do I change the size of the bars? So if I go to, I think it's View, Show Layout Handles. And once I've done that, then I think I should be able to just stretch that bar or shrink it. So I can make it that small. I can make this one as big as I want. And that's how you do it. But they do, and then you just, and the little handle box shows as filled in because it's been changed from the default. Okay, but if I put all of that back as it was, the other thing you can do is you can change the number of bars that you have in each system. So if I go to Score, Full Score Options, and then I go to Layout, see, it says here, bars per system, automatic. So if I set this to 4 and go OK, now I have 4 bars per system, which is kind of standard for kind of contemporary popular music. But if you decide that you, if you don't want to have 4 bars in a system, you can change it. You can force a new system from, say, the 3rd bar here. So I can click here, and I can go here. I can go bar 4. I can reset the measure width as well. I can reset system spacing, reset staff spacing. I can do all of these from here. But I can also force a new system from there. So that now means that this particular system breaks the overruling, it breaks the rule that I set in place for 4 measures per system. So now I have just 3 here. If I undo that, there we go. Ronald says, I just saw how the bars adjusted based on entries. I want to do 8 chords. I want to do 8 bars for guitar charts. You want to do 8 bars per system? Yeah, you can change that. So you can go to score, as I said, full score options, layout, and then change this. You can only at the moment go 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 because those are kind of like the most conventional. So standard guitar, well, standard charts in any pop music or rock music setting, it will be 4 measures per system. Okay, so you can set it to 5. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But yeah, it kind of defaults to automatic, which basically means it'll do its own thing. But generally you have 4 measures. If I just zoom out a little bit so it's not so huge, and you'll see that this is actually not that massive amount of space. So if I add in a whole bunch of notation here, then this, let's say I have like 16th notes in this bar. So for this, I'm probably just gonna set 16th notes, and then I'm just gonna see. So now that bar is really quite large, and then this bar, if I keep going, see how now this system here has only 2 measures in the system rather than 4, and that's because there are lots of notes. So I can if I just get out of this entry mode, and then if I get my pointer tool, I said pointer tool, thank you, and I can grab this layout handle. See, it's not going to let me move the layout handle, because what Notion does is it recognizes if I try and make this measure smaller, it's going to be harder to see. See, it won't let me do it. I'm trying to grab that layout handle and it won't let me adjust it, whereas these ones are adjustable. But these ones that contain notation, Notion is smart enough that it knows that the smaller I make these measures, the harder they are going to be to read for anybody. So it doesn't allow you to do that. But yeah, if I was to undo all of this, no entry, see how the bars are adjusting as I delete notes. So now these are kind of a standard size. So if I was only to go with 8th notes, for example, if I do the same again, and I just go, see how the measures are adjusting as I'm entering notes. Ronald says, I mainly want to input chord voicings for keyboards, and for some for some of the more esoteric chords. Okay. All right, so if you want to enter chord voicings, that's a little bit different, and there's like different ways of doing those. So let's just get rid of all of this. There we go. All right, so if I want to enter some chords, and I know how to voice them in notation, then I can do, as you saw me do here. But if I want just chord symbols and rhythm slashes, I can do those. There's a really excellent video that Chris Swaffer, the product manager for Notion, did on how you get the chord symbols to play back. So if I go to what do I want to do? I want to go to the chord library. If I press on C7 here, it opens this chord library. So, for example, let's start here. Let's say I want some slash notes for okay. And then what I want to do is I want to put some chords in here. So let's say I want to do C major 7 here, and then let's say here I want to do F major 7, and then let's say I want to go back to C major 7 here, and then let's say I want to go to G, but I want to go to something a little bit more exotic. I want to go to G7, but I want to have a sharp 11 in there as well. All right, so now that I've entered those chords, when I go to this next bar, it's now strumming those chords. See how that works? Is there the option of changing the guitar tuning? And if so, do the tabs readjust and land on the right notes? Yes, you can change the tuning. So to do that, you'd need to go back into score setup. And then you click on this cogwheel here. Now we've got the basic acoustic guitar, so we go to Notion/tab and see all these tunings here. So you can change those notes. So let's say I want to make this into drop D. So I want to drop that down to a D. All right. So I'm going to have D, A, D, G. Let's make that dadgad. So if I go, all right. So now I've gone for dadgad tuning, and then I just do OK. And then we exit the score setup. And so now, if I go right back to the top, some of this is going to sound different now, or at least it should. It hasn't really affected the tuning. Yeah. I know why. It's because when I input all this data, it was in the original tuning. So what I would need to do is I'd need to clear everything. So let's do that. And I'm having mouse trouble. All right, so let's go back to the beginning and let's stick in some notes and see what happens. And I don't want that note head, I want a normal note head. All right, so I hope that helps. How playing the chords on my piano keyboard? Yes, you can do that too. All right, so let me clear this and I can show you how to do that. All right, so to do that, you need to have your MIDI keyboard set up for Notion, and you can do that in File Preferences, then MIDI I/O. So my keyboard is connected via an old-fashioned MIDI cable into the back of my Studio 1824 in the MIDI in port, and then MIDI record. I've got a 2-measure count in with a pre-roll and click in pre-roll, and then I have the split point set to C4. If I was using one of those Fishman triple plays, then I would need to have this checked as well, multi-channel guitar. I'm not doing that, so I don't need to do that. So I'm going to OK all of that. And then what I want to do is I want to come up to this button here, because I want to make sure that I have metronome during playback and metronome during record. And then I want to do real-time recording. Or I can do step-time recording. Let's do step-time recording first. So let's turn that off. Okay, let's stop that. So if I want to do step-time, then I just select my note values. So if I'm going to do half notes, that's fine. So I can just go, and then I can go, and then I can go. And you see how just playing on the keyboard, all these notes have now appeared. So and that's what I played on the keyboard. All right, now let's get rid of all of this stuff here. And I'm going to show you how I do real time. So if I go from here, and if I decide I just want to do real time from here. So let's start the recording. Let's go from here. Oh, it's going to give me a 2-bar counting. Of course it is. And I'm going to stop that. And now, as you can see here, it has put in all the notes that I played. Albeit, I wasn't particularly great with my timing here, but it's been faithful to exactly what I played. So let's turn this guy off now. Okay, so I hope that helps answer those. And Ronald says exactly what I wanted, and then it can detect the chords and add chord symbols, correct? No, it doesn't do that. Notion doesn't detect the chords and input the chord symbols for you. See these here? It won't tell you what these are. You will need to know what they are, and then you can put in your chords from the chord library. And if the chords don't exist in the chord library, you can create them by using combinations of the bass note here, the chord types here, and then any extensions that you might have, or an alternative bass note here, for example. And then these appear here in this little, it's got this little notepad here thing. And so chords that you regularly use, Notion is smart enough to learn what you are using most commonly in your score, and then it populates this section here, and then all you need to do is just click and drag, click and drag, click and drag, click and drag, and that's how it works. but it doesn't detect the chords that you play and go, aha, that is an E flat 7, flat 9, sharp 11, flat 13 chord, and put in the chord symbol for it. It doesn't do that. However, I think that's a super great little feature request that you could certainly go and make over at answers.presonus.com for sure. All right, so I hope that that helps. So there we go. What if the chart was in landscape orientation? Landscape. Again, that kind of goes back to, full score options and layout. Let's see. Page. The moment it's in portrait, yes, you can put it in landscape here. So if you go to page, go to landscape, okay, that. And now, as you can see, it's in landscape mode. Easy enough to do. But I don't really personally like that option, so I like to keep it in portrait. The standard default is US letter, but you can use A4, A3, US legal, tabloid, or you can make your own custom page size, and then you can adjust all of these elements here. You can also adjust the fonts for different things that are in the score. So, for example, these fingerings here, let's say you want the fingering numbers to have a different font. Let's say like the jazz text, for example, and then we do OK. And that should have changed those. I don't think it did. I don't know why it didn't. Let's go back to that. Fonts, finger numbers, jazz text. Let's change that to 10. Yeah, that's weird. It's not changing. Don't know why that's not changing, because that should be changing in the score, and it's not. Don't know why. Anyway, you can change like lots of things. Like you can change this guy here to whatever you want. You can make it bold, you can make it italic, you can do whatever you like. There's loads of options for the different elements of the score. You can even change, kind of like how it named, the naming convention you want. And if you only want notation or you only want tab, that's dead easy to do as well. Just go into the score setup and then hit the cogwheel here. And then see here where it says show both. Let's say you just want the tab. That's fine. You can do that. Just tab. Okay. Exit the score setup. Now look what it's done here. It's put in note values with each of the tab note heads. So there you go. All right. But let's say you just want just the notation. Go back, click on the cogwheel again, and then say just show standard notation. Then you exit the score editor, and there you go. You've got your single line guitar chart. And look at that. All 32 bars fit on the one page. All right. So if you want just chord changes, you can put in your rhythm slashes and put chord symbols over the top. Cool. There you go. A little bit of Notion. Yeah, that's fun. Notion is a load of fun. I'll tell you that. Just Bob says, I might have missed this, walked away for 10 minutes. If you're writing in the key of F, can you move the notes down to E to hear the difference instead of rewriting the music? I'm not quite sure what you mean there, Bob. I'll be honest. If you're writing in the key of F, can you move the notes down to E to hear the difference instead of rewriting? Well, if you're still talking about being in Notion, I can go back to Notion again. And here we can put in a key change right here. So we can go over here, we can go over here, and then we can change this to F major. We'll go okay. Oh, that didn't do what I wanted to do. There we go. All right, so we are now in the key of F at this point, and I've got my notes, so I'm going to put in just put some notes from the F major scale. Okay. But I'm not quite sure what you're saying. To be honest, Bob. In Notion, transposing what you wrote. And you want to hear what this might sound like in the key of E. Is that what you're saying? So if I was to take all of this, and let's see about this. I copy it and then paste it here, and then let's see. Think about how to do this. Right click, notes. No, I'm not seeing an option there. Tools, transpose. Let's transpose down a minor second. And we'll transpose the key signatures as well. Transpose. So now this is in the key of E, albeit there's no key signature. But this section here is in F, but this section is in E, but that's fine. We can fix that. We can go here and we can go E major. Drop that there. Okay. All right, so Bob, I hope that that's what you're talking about. Yes, what was written, all bars and transposed to another key. Yes, so you can do that. You can just, as I said, you can just copy, paste it, and transpose it. Not a problem to do that. So I could take these guys here. Oh, I'm having mouse trouble today. Yeah, my mouse is not behaving. There we go. And then I can go Tools, Transpose, and if I go back and transpose up a major second, no, up a minor second, Transpose Key Signatures. Why are you not letting me do it? Why are you not letting me do it? There we go. Transpose. All right, so you saw that? Those two bars there that I had transposed the key of E and put it and had it transpose the key signature, and then I transposed it back up, and so it has the correct key signature now. So now it's in F, which is the same as these two bars here. Cool. So I hope that answers that question. Great question, though. I like that. John Lake says, I would have thought this a normal thing to do. Yes, transposing is a normal thing to do, for sure. And Bobby's happy with that. Cool. What's John Lake saying in response to, where does all of the unplay? Something tells me, I have no idea what you are talking about. And I can't get the scat. Why can't I get the chat to scroll? Okay, I'm just going back up the chat just to see if I've missed any questions. Does not look like there is anything that I've missed. All right, so we've got about 9 minutes left. and that was cool to kind of do a little Q&A on Notion. That was fun. So we can do more of this kind of thing on Notion if you guys are interested in it. But yeah, I think maybe I should do some videos on Notion. So if you guys have specific things that you want me to do videos on for Notion, then please do email me and just say, hey, I want to know about how you do X in Notion. Just make it a very specific topic of how you do something in Notion, and I will make a video on it, no trouble. It's just these days it's hard for me to find time to make videos, but I certainly intend to do better at that. You know, since lockdown started, well, not lockdown, since COVID-19 started, making videos has been a little bit of a challenge for me, because certainly at the start of it, I had to kind of stop making videos because, you know, I had my kids at home because their schools were closed. And so I was having to homeschool and then start my job. And really, by the end of the day, I was just too tired to make any videos whatsoever. So, but now my kids are very much back into schools. They are settled in their new schools because we moved house and we're in this wonderful room. And this is it, guys. This is my room for the very, you know, yeah, for, you know, forever, probably. Until I'm like 76 and still doing Sunday Night Live. Probably. I will probably be 76 years old and still doing Sunday Night Live. And hopefully you guys will still be watching. And we'll still be in this room, more than likely. So, so yeah, my kids are now settled into their new schools. So I intend to start making some videos a little bit more frequently. So yeah, I would definitely love to get your ideas for videos for Notion and videos for Studio One as well. As well as, you know, like a topic or a particular feature that you want me to look at for Sunday Night Live, we can do that too. Happy to do all of that. Marcus says, for the future, if you're allowed to say, it's possible perhaps one denoiser for audio. You select noise, build a profile, and denoise the entire audio. There is not one for Studio One, but well, not one built into Studio One is what I should say. But certainly, who is it who makes RX? I forget. I should know the answer to this because I actually have their products. So yeah, I should know the answer to this. Isotope. Isotope make the RX bundle of plugins, and there is a denoise plugin amongst the basic package that they have, and I use that all the time. I use the denoise all the time on voiceover stuff, because one of the other things I do, I am a voiceover artist on the side, so I do continuity announcements for radio and television and things like that. It's a fun little side job that I do. And I do some stuff, voiceovers for books and a little bit of voice acting. So I'm using the RX voice denoise all the time, and it's brilliant. It's fantastic. I mean, it works in real time. It real time processes your audio, but you can render it, and it sounds it's great when it's done. So I recommend it. I have RX7, but I think they're on RX9, I think now. So it's well worth getting, for sure. But currently in Studio One, there is no denoise plugin. There is no de-esser either. However, you can make a de-esser using the compressor plugin or the multiband dynamics plugin. In fact, I think both of those plugins have presets for de-essing. I have, what do I have for de-essing? What is it I use? I use a Fab Filter plugin, I think. No, it's an SPL. It's an SPL plugin called the SPL de-esser. And I have two. I have the regular de-esser, and then they make a dual band de-esser as well, which you get with Plugin Alliance. So I have those, and those work really great as well. But yeah, there's nothing native to Studio One for those type of plugins yet. Who knows what the future holds? And I couldn't tell you anyway. Mike says Ozone is version 9 and RX is at version 8. Cool, thanks for that. So I'm only one version behind. I thought I was much further behind than that, but yeah. I'm not, thankfully. And once again, this thing won't scroll up the chat, damn it. It's getting annoying. Okay, Secret Squirrel. I missed his question. I'm really sorry, I missed your question. He says, would you be so kind as to share your approach to composing based upon scenes or scene changes based upon setting mood, changing tones swiftly, slowly, different strategies? Wow, there's a lot to unpack there, and I think, to be honest, I would need to maybe devote an entire show to that, because there are a lot of things involved with music. I mean, are you thinking musical theatre, or are you thinking television or film? Because how you would approach one versus the other is very different. So how I would approach composing something for music, for theatre or musicals, would be different from how I do something for film or television. There are cliches that you probably should avoid unless you're doing it for humor's sake. Like, for example, the sound of, if you ever watch detective shows from like the 70s or 80s, a lot of those used like a lot of jazz in their scores, or jazz funk, something like that. But anyway, quite often when like you have an establishing shot looking at the police station, you have like muted trombones and things like that over a low pedal point on upright basses on cellos. And then when the detective gets out of his car and he walks into the police station, as the door opens, you have a descending line in two bassoons with a bass clarinet. That's a well-known TV show kind of cliche. And there are other ones, like for medical shows, like ER, for example. They have their own set of cliches for establishing shots of hotels, or establishing shots of hospitals, or establishing shots of, different things. They have like a different set of chords, or a different set of orchestrations that they'll use. So how you approach those two things will be very different. Maybe 30 minutes each. Maybe not. Because I don't want to devote like, I would have to spread that over maybe a couple of shows. Because I still want to allow for a section of the show for questions. So I want to have like the topic section of the show quite short, maybe 10-15 minutes, and then the rest of the time devoted to your questions, because I want to take as many questions as I can, really. That would be my overall objective. But yes, I can certainly do shows on those. Please drop me an email, and I will add that to the list. But drop me an email to remind me, okay? Let's see, what else do we have going on? Ronald says, I have old recordings, cassettes, that have hiss and 60 hertz hum. Can iZotope fix that? In most cases, I would say probably. And as Marcos says, you can also draw audio with RX. You can actually just, use your mouse pointer, but you have to kind of know what you're looking at and what you're wanting to change if you're going to kind of draw it by hand in RX. But yes, things like hiss and hum, you can use denoise for that. And you might even be able to use a de-esser as well. If you find the exact frequency of your hiss, you can use a de-esser. to get rid of that. And obviously 60 hertz hum, you can duck that away as well. You could use a multiband compressor to do that. So yeah, different things. Dehum would work as well. I think that's part of one of the RX bundles. I only have the basic one, and the basic one has declick, declip, dehum, and denoise. But yeah, probably a bit of dehum and a bit of denoise would get you in the right spot. So I have the dehum, and that would probably get rid of that 60 hertz quite well. All right, so I think we are at the end. I don't see any new questions, to be honest. Yeah, I'm not seeing any new questions. So I think we'll call it a day there, or a night, I should say, because for me, it's like 1 o'clock in the morning, and I've got stuff to do, man. So before I go to bed. So thank you very much, everybody, for your great questions, and thank you very much for coming to tonight's show. It's been pretty cool. I mean, let me go and see where we tapped out. We peaked at 27, which is pretty good. We are regularly peaking above 24, which is great. Now, I think I said that the old record had been 34, and I think last week we broke that and went up to 36. So 36 is our new record that we need to beat. So if you know people that you think that Sunday Night Live would be a great fit for, and maybe you know people who have just switched over to Studio One, and maybe they're asking you questions all the time, and you're just like, this would be great for Sunday Night Live. Get them along, tell them about the show, and share links to it, and say, hey, go over to the channel, subscribe to the channel, and click that notification bell. And by the way, if you haven't done that yet, go do it. Hit the subscribe button and click the notification bell. And then that way you know when my show is, and you also get a notification of any videos that I make as well. So with all of that said, yeah, drop me emails if you have a particular subject that you want a video on for Notion, or a subject for Sunday Night Live. I would appreciate that. And I will see you guys all on Wednesday, hopefully. I need to talk to Jonny and just confirm that we're on for Wednesday, but I'm pretty sure we are. But yeah, so I'll see you over on Jonny's channel, which is the Home Studio Trainer channel, just in case you don't know. For Songwriting Simplified with Jonny Geib. Should be cool. Need to talk to him about what we're going to talk about. And again, just another opportunity for you guys to ask questions of both of us. So not just me, but both of us, to talk about songwriting and arranging and composing and music theory and all of the stuff that goes inside that. So with that said, thanks for coming, and I'll see you then. Good night.